Good morning, Rainmakers. Going live for the second time this year, not being as consistent as I have wanted to be. And I was really thinking about that in terms of I've set my goals, I've set my desires for the year, and I've really sort of tried to be aware of my situation where I am in Dubai at the moment, just moved here. So focusing on actually goals and ambitions and targets. And, I haven't hit the ground running. Now, my was thinking, how come I've set my goals and desires and my needs are much more in line with having to do something. I moved to a new country. I've got no steady income coming in. I've worked in the real estate industry now at a company for 2 or 3 months. Now I have left that company. And so again, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's because I've left the company. And so therefore now I am on a new path. And then I was thinking, well, actually, no, because the company I was working with wasn't providing me with any training. It wasn't as if I was generating an income, so I was being paid zero. It wasn't like I was learning new stuff after a certain amount of time. So it wasn't like I was there and I've left something behind. Like normally, if you leave a job, you could get those sort of feelings and stuff due to the fact that you were earning good money. Have you made the right decision to move on? Was it the right time? You're scared because suddenly you've left that income behind and you're going on to a new team and a new company. But all those things aren't there in this particular job. So why am I not as motivated and not as inspired to do what I was doing? So, yes, it was baffling. And I sort of thought I worked it out in terms of the fact that New Year's resolutions, and I believe that, as I mentioned in the last video, if you just do your New Year's resolutions and you actually write them down and get them in order and stuff, that you're going to achieve stuff. But society makes you think that doing it in January is the ideal time for it. But as I said in the last video, the ideal time is every point during the year in terms of your aspirations and where you are. Society makes you believe January is a time where you should maybe look at it again if you've not started it. And it's a good starting point, but ultimately, setting goals for the quarter and the year and weekly is how you're going to succeed. So what is the hidden blueprint for success? I believe, as I said, that one of the key factors, if not the key factor, is routine. Now, you may say to yourself, well, what do you mean routine? What's routine got to do with anything? But routine to me is something which settles you. Now, if you think about anything that you've achieved in life, whether it be good or bad, and you think about, for example, when you went to school, you go to school at a set time, you have your classes at a set time, you have your home time at a set time. And so for kids, routine is the most important thing, even as babies. When you're having a child and they say routine is king. Why is it routine is king? Because they can't speak to you. They can't articulate how they feel. However, if you feed them at a certain time and then they're crying, then they need to be fed at that time. So rather than waiting for them to cry and be fed, you set the routine up for feeding them at that time. Likewise, in the night, they will cry and you feed them and you get into a routine, whether it be suitable for you or not, to deal with the situation and get through. Going to school, same thing. Routine is king. Going to work, routine is king. Now, I'm not saying, but you can also see how eating badly is routine again. So you get to the end of the day, as we all know or may not be aware of, you only have a certain amount of willpower in you to actually make decisions. Hence why Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs wore the same jeans, same t-shirt, same shoes, brushed their teeth most probably the same way in the same area, because of the fact that they didn't want to use that willpower decision-making process on mundane small things, so that when it got to the end of the day or team meetings when they had to make bigger decisions, that they were all depleted. Hence why in the evening, if you think about it, you come back after a hard day's work, you're feeling exhausted, you've gone to the gym or you've not gone to the gym, and you have a choice of going to the gym and you choose not to go to the gym. Or you're sitting there watching TV, relaxing, you're feeling a bit peckish, you open the fridge, you've not eaten any chocolate all day long, but now you have a piece of chocolate because, again, your levels are down. And so therefore the routine forms. The next day it happens again, the next day it happens again, and the next day it happens again. And suddenly you're doing it all the time. But the routine has been formed. Now, it's not a good routine, but it's a routine. It makes you feel happy, it satisfies your needs, and it gives you a sense of purpose. So routines are so important in terms of what you do. They are the bare bones of success. Now, nurture and nature, for example. If somebody is really good at sports and, for example, a tennis player, and doesn't play tennis all the time, where you've got somebody who's okay at sports, but plays rigorously every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the morning, wakes up, gets things done. But the other person who's talented just ad hoc does it. As we know and have read about, it takes about 10,000 hours to do a discipline in order to master it. You can't just do that willy-nilly. It's got to be in a process and a routine. So hence, the person who this has been done in a book called Bounce by Matthew Syed. Great book if you want to read it. It talks about nurture and nature. It talks about two twins who were separated at birth and how they did different things. But ultimately, what I also got from the book in hindsight now is that you are programmed and we are machines, even though we don't want to think of us as machines, we think of us as humans, but our brain works like a machine. We have needs, we have desires. And so therefore, getting the right routine in place allows us to actually really be invigorated and do things without thinking and accomplishing things. But also, in my mind, over this last week, what it has done is made me realize that my routine at the moment is I wake up in the morning, and normally I'd wake up at 5 a.m. join the 5 a.m. club. Robin Sharp book, another book that's fantastic to read. Now I'm waking up at 6 o'clock and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll have a coffee. I don't have to go to work, so I will just read a little bit, but I'm not really reading anything properly. I'm just reading somewhere. Then I have my water. And then suddenly from 6 o'clock, it's nearly 8 o'clock. And I've followed a routine and a pattern of procrastinating and just going around and doing stuff, but not really achieving anything. And then think to myself, oh, what was all that about? However, the next morning and the next morning and the next morning, I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm saying to myself, I'm aware of it and I want to break out of it, but I've not set a goal or a pattern or an intention in order to get that done. So therefore, from my point of view, I sort of think to myself, okay, I'm just going to free roll or freewheel it, as they say. So routine to me is key. It's a transformative power that people have. It's a simple thing to do, which will get you anywhere in life, regardless of your ability. As long as you have routine in place, the desire and the success and the hunger for all those other ingredients, if you don't have routine in place, it's worthless, because of the fact that without routine, you're going to get there, but you're not going to get there quickly, and you're not going to get there in a mindful way where it's a trajectory and a path. Because once you've built up a routine for a certain amount of times and levels to do certain, for example, reading for half an hour every day, that's going to get you there. And then after that, you then move on to a different thing of doing another routine. So how's this going to help you guys in property? Well, of course, the way it's going to help you in property is having your routine of your morning routine of getting into the right frame and mind, going into that office and setting yourself clear goals and targets where you have structured, blocked out times for doing your work, i.e. first hour, 2 hours feedback from your viewings that you've done yesterday, callbacks that you were meant to do yesterday, then looking at booking in new clients and looking at what your day entails in terms of viewings and getting things sorted, chasing up deals, lunchtime viewings, after lunchtime chasing up deals of what you were meant to do. But clearly, once you have a week set out as a routine, callbacks, chasing deals, looking at new perspectives, visiting the community that you're in, looking at your Instagram and digital marketing, and all these processes are fitted into your week, then what happens is that when you come in, you hit the ground running, you know what you're doing, you're confident at what you're doing, you spend dedicated time and awareness to do what you want to do for that time. And therefore, it's not just fly by, oh, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that today. It may happen here. And you will feel so much more calmer, more happier, more content, because you can't sit there and spend an hour just thinking about what shall I do or what shan't I do. It's written in front of you. You can see it's feedback from viewings. So you know that feedbacks from viewings is between 9 and 10. You've done 4 or 5 viewings yesterday, so you can then chase it up. Now, of course, if there are no viewings done, then you think to yourself, okay, I've not done any viewings there. However, I will chase up the viewings from before, or I will book new clients in. You don't just ignore it. So therefore, then you have a clear plan and a strategy of what you want to do. And as a result of that, that routine, which is embedded in you, will make you successful. That's why I was an amazing estate agent and I did lots of deals. I just followed a routine. Where was the routine given to me? It wasn't given to me at school. It was, but it wasn't indirectly given to me at school. It was given to me at my first job at business publications. They gave you a routine where you came into the office. You had to do 10 pitches on the phone. You had to follow a script. You had trends and benefits. You had to follow the scripts and fill in the trends and benefits and things. You did your research for making these calls at a certain time. You did your pitches at a certain time. You had to make 10 pitches within a day. That was your goal. You had to have a certain amount of takeovers in a day. So therefore, all that routine, you came in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. You kept doing it, and there was a recipe for success. So therefore, while you do have routine, also make sure that your routine has positive feedback in terms of the fact that you can work out whether the routine that you're doing is accomplishing your goals, i.e., are you getting more viewings out there? Are you speaking to more people? Are you actually selling property? Because ultimately, the whole crux of everything that you do is to sell property. You can do everything, but if you don't sell property and make money, you're not doing your job correctly, because you are looking to sell property. You can have different styles in selling property, the soft approach, the hard approach, the closers approach. It doesn't matter. You've got to sell property. So look at your routine, looking at your New Year's resolutions. I personally am going to make sure from tomorrow that I start the 5 a.m. club, or let's say 6 a.m. club, just so that I don't have to run before I can walk. And then I'm going to make sure that I clearly plan out my day. and make sure I have clear set goals in there. My calendar is basically normally set per day, chunked out blocks, so I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing it, even to the extent my date night tonight with my wife is blocked out. My time of spending time with my son is blocked out. Now, those were all gone out the window because what happened was I went to work and work took over. And so with the block out time of the work, that went into a different sector. However, now I've finished work, I've come back into working for myself, and I've realized that then I have relied on the work scenario to do my deeds and tasks. And so therefore now I've let the other side go. So I just need to get back into the routine of setting my week up, doing it on a Sunday, and my aspirations, looking at my long-term goals, looking at my short-term goals, and then going from there. I hope that's been helpful to everybody. I think, I'm amazed that, as I said, that, how much routine has so much effect on us, and also bad routine. So, notice the routine and the habits and stuff that you're doing, because in a way, a habit is a routine of doing the same thing all the time, eating or drinking all the time. You go to a pub, it's a routine of drinking in a pub. You don't have to drink in a pub, but you go to a pub and you think, I have to drink because this is what you do in a pub. Think about your routines, think about what you're doing, think about how it affects your moods and your life. And I believe if you can get even small routines going and build on it, that it will just help you to be more healthy, be more productive, and to bring down that uncertainty in your head. Because as human beings, we like to be routine driven because it gives us calmness and it gives us the sort of tranquility and mindfulness to do what we need to do without having to make other key decisions every day. Thank you very much for listening, and I will get back to you soon. Take care, Rainmakers.